This is the question paper of previous semester. So time allowed is 1 hour. You have 2 questions, and these instructions are normal instructions given to you. And here, to answer these questions, you will be provided the Iesl Code of Ethics. So we don't know whether the exam is online or it's a physical one. However, this Code of Ethics will be provided. And these are the questions. I'll share the question paper. So these are the questions. First question is what are the expectations of the society from an engineer? Some of the questions you don't have direct answer. No, there is no specific answer. Some are very open. So what to expect from this question is, engineer is a normally technical person. You will study so many technical things at the university. When you go to the industry, you are not doing only technical things. But if you go to research and development, maybe you are doing only the technical things. But when you go to the industry, say Road Development Authority, Sri Lanka Electricity Board, Sri Lanka Telecom, so you are working with the people or the society, or you are doing some service to the society. So society depends on our service. Now all these services are essential for the people. Say the Sri Lanka Electricity Board, electricity is essential for the people. So if the electricity is not there, it is affected for their life. So therefore, we are working with their life actually. And if the internet connections are not there or the voice communication cannot be done, then again it is also affected to their. So therefore, society is expecting many things from us. One is that they want to have a very good life. That means the comfortable life from engineers. So when they are traveling, they should have they need a good roads. So they need the good electricity. They need the good internet connection. So society is expecting these things. And other thing is, when you are doing these things, you will do the projects. So it should not disturb to their day-to-day life also. When you are doing some project, it can be affected to their day-to-day life. But as engineers, we should not concentrate only the technical things. Now you remember when the guest lecture was done by Mr. Xavi Fernando, former general manager of CEB, he mentioned about the Kotmalai project. So he was the project manager of the Kotmalai project. And what are the difficulties he faced? What are the hardships he went through? And how he helped the society. So he did some kind of replacement. So they build the houses for the people. They build the schools for the people. Actually, they gave a better life for the people. So after they acquire their lands, so but some engineers think we have the authority from this particular act, Parliament Act. We have given authority. We can do anything. Therefore, if you want to remove them, okay, we will give only 1 week. You have to leave from here. But you have to think about their normal life. And also they have to think about their cultural things are there. Their religious things are there. So some are affected only for that particular area. So you should do our work engineering work as much as possible not to disturb their life on these areas. So if you want to acquire land where it is a temple, maybe the people in that area will protest to that. But if you want to cut a bow tree aside the road, people may protest for that. So you can discuss with them. That's why you need a very good communicator. You can discuss with them. You can convince them what are the benefits of that one. And you can give the alternative solution for that. So that kind of things you have to do. So this is addressed in the our code of ethics also. I will share the code of ethics also. So this is code of ethics. The clause 1 says the engineer shall hold paramount the health, safety and welfare of the public. So that is our duty to have. We have to consider the health, safety and welfare of the public and proper utilization of the funds and other resources in the performance of their professional duties. It shall take precedence over the responsibility of the profession, sectoral or private interest, employers or their to other engineers. From this one, you can get some idea what is the society expectation from us. And even the clause 2, engineers shall always act in such a manner to uphold the honor, integrity and dignity of the profession while safeguarding public interest at all times. This requires that the engineering profession should endeavor by its behavior to merit the highest esteem of the community. It follows therefore that engineers, there some list is there. So the engineer consider as a the society considers engineer as a very decent person and he has the honor, integrity, dignity, those things. So therefore, from example, we should show that one to the society. So likewise, there are some clauses you can consider to write the answer for this one. So there was some points are here in this question. I will share some sample answers. So what are the expectations of the society from an engineer? So we know the engineer apply theory and make devices and systems which will be beneficial to the human beings. So they will invent the thing, society expecting you are inventing the thing. So you will design, you will construction, operate and maintain, solve the complex engineering problems. So you will apply the science and maths to solve the problems. The same thing, the innovations is there. So maybe you can innovate the local products to make the life easier to the people and the values of the profession. So the integrity, dignity, those things should be maintained and you should be accountable, responsible, and you should be able to do the teamwork. So all these things are expecting the society from you. So when you are writing the answer to this one, so you can consider all these things. So it's an open answer. So you can write anything you think what the society expecting from you. So why we put this question is to give an eye opening that the society is expecting so many things from you. So Mr. Asela, you want to add anything?
Yeah, Mr. Tilaksila, so now this answer, I think we have given the number of marks given for each sub question. So 50 marks for one main question and 50 marks for the second question too. And out of the first question, if there are 5 marks, meaning you have to spend, hey, I don't think we need to tell this, but say around 7.5 minutes out of the half an hour, right? So you have to don't waste time on depending on the number of marks given for each question. You have to allocate your given time half an hour for per question. Allocate your time based on that, and first read the question, and depending on the number of marks given, you have to quickly answer those within the half an hour time. Otherwise you will not have time to answer the second question, right? So manage your time. That is one thing that we have to tell. Now question one specifically asking what is the society expectations of an engineer. So not just the definition, but it essentially is, as Mr. Tilaksila explained, the code of ethics itself shows you what is the expectation of the society, right? The code of ethics is built on that premise. What is society and the industry and the community expecting from an engineer? That is how the code of ethics is derived from. So a brief summary of that is what's expected in question one, but don't take more than, say, if you calculate, it should take only about 7 minutes to answer that, right? Don't take more than that time. So probably 50 words, 7 to 50, up to 50 or 75 words will be enough. But only thing, it has to carry the essence. So the marks will be given based on whether you have captured the essence of that definition, the definition of an engineer in society. Once you capture those salient marks, uh, you will get full marks. Uh, and if you have not captured it properly, you will lose.
Yeah, you have 100 marks and you have given 60 minutes. So 1 mark is 0.6 minutes. So if you have 5 marks, you can uh, spend about 3 minutes. Now you have the marks here. So each question, what are the marks are given here? 5 marks, 10 marks, 5 marks, like that. So you decide that how much time you are going to approximately answer to that question and write the answer to the point. Then only you will get the marks. Do you have any question from this one? Any question? Okay, if not, we will go to the second question. Okay, second question is, suppose you are assigned as a project manager for road widening project of the Road Development Authority. What kind of practical problems would you face with the society while you are implementing the project, and what are the solutions that you would provide for the faced problems? Now, this also very open question. There is no specific answer to that. Now, here you can see that you are working with the society. Now, when you are working in the society, you can face many problems. Now, when you are widening the project, you have to acquire the lands. While you acquired the land, there may be the unauthorized buildings are there. So you may ask them to remove those things. And because of when you are doing this project, there can be environmental problems and so many things are there. You can visualize those things and you can see what kind of solutions we are going for due to that kind of problems. We have a sample answer here. This is not exact answer. it should indicate the impact to the society, positive or negative aspects, and what kind of social problems can be arisen, how it is faced, what kind of practical solution suggested. For instance, proper compensation, relocation with their facilities, environmental impact. Actually, the very good answers were given from the students for this one. Uh, can Aswa recall the answers that they have given? No need exactly the points.
Yeah,
These are the points actually, the relocation, these
yeah,
things,
relocation,
and
and
are there
then
any very
pollution, yeah, noise and environmental pollution. Such cases were given by students, and also here the question asks what are the solutions that you provide. So for this, you have to take approximately 6 minutes. Within 6 minutes, you have to uh, identify the potential key issues. For example, because this is 6 minutes, you identify three key issues that could arise: social problems, practical problems, and then what would your approach be like as a professional engineer in these three cases? That is the approach you have to take. So don't go into so much detail. Identify key issues, say three issues, three or four, or if you can have time, you can do five. And then under each, you have to give a brief solution or the approach that you would take. Uh, for example, relocation of when there are private land being acquired, relocation, how would you do it, especially for businesses and people having their livelihoods disturbed? What would you do? So that for that you have to give your own solution, right? Give them alternative, land with close proximity with the required or better facilities, so that there won't be any uprising, and then they will willingly go to that location. And if they are having a livelihood in that area, let them have a better start in a very close proximity, so that they can continue with their profession, right? If you disturb their livelihood, that's a very a big social impact to that family and the families and or the community. So because they depend on the community to maintain their livelihood. So that kind of answer, not don't go into heavy details, but within the given time, identify the key few issues and your approach to tackle those issues very briefly.
yeah, okay. Now suppose you are doing this project, old binary project nowadays, you have to think about the situation of the country also. People are very aggressive because they have to face many problems. All these things also should be considered. Okay. Then any question from this one? Okay, if not, we'll go to the next one. Okay, next question is who is a professional? So this we don't want to explain, actually you should know that one, we have discussed so many times. Just go through the lecture slides. So actually the professional needs a very specialized knowledge. Now you are going to be an engineer in the industry. So when you are doing this 4.5 years course, you are getting for specialized knowledge. Then after that you are getting the experience and you are developing your competencies. Then only you can become an actual professional. So engineer will become the actual professional when you get a charter. Then only you develop your competencies. Uh, this one, okay. Then the next question is what is the importance of having a professional body for engineers? Now, in this question, some students they 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 confuse with the duties of the ISL and the engineering council also. And these things are very straightforward. We know what is the use of the professional body, why we need a professional body. We have discussed these things. So you can see in the lecture slides why we need a professional body and what are the functions of the professional body. Then these things you should indicate in this question. So, Mr. Asela, you want to add anything?
So, Tilak sir, so professional, when you say professional body, it means the in Sri Lankan context, Institute of Engineers, Sri Lanka, right?
Yes.
So,
So,
yeah, so ECSL is a regulatory body, ISL is a professional body. So, here we are asking what is the importance of ISL, for example, for engineers, right? But in the global context, a professional body. So there we have given you the mandate of the IESL or the professional bodies of engineers. There you we have our the objectives as a Institute of Engineers is to uphold the profession uh, and develop the engineering as a profession, and then also to serve the nation and the communities and so on. I also cannot remember the total thing, but uh, we have to go through
uh,
the slides, remember those things.
yeah, the
Uh,
professional
and
body,
yeah,
actually so we explained very well after you passed out from the university, who will look after you, who will assist you to improve your knowledge, update your knowledge in the industry, technologies, and who will assess the degrees, the education qualification, different education qualifications are coming. Then uh, who will take the actions against any profession, any professional do some misconduct. So, and and also the professional body can give the different memberships and they can maintain different standard for the competencies, those things. So that kind of things, that is the in general what is the professional body is doing. Then it's actually you have to understand this professional body is a private organization. It's not a government organization. It's made with the members, their members are that professionals. Now some professional bodies are they are passed from Act of Parliament. Very few professional bodies. Now, for instance, the in Institution of Engineers Sri Lanka, that professional body passed from an Act of Parliament, and the Chartered Accountants Association, it was passed from Act of Parliament. But most of the professional bodies are not passed with the Act of Parliament. But the professional bodies who pass with the Act of Parliament has many authorities given by law. For instance, the ISL has the authority about the engineering education in Sri Lanka, maintain the standard of engineering education. So the professional body, their rules, regulations are applicable to only for the members in that organization, that professional body. So if they are doing something, they can remove them from the professional body. Then they explain the functional difference between ISL and Engineering Council Sri Lanka. Now, Engineering Council Sri Lanka is not a professional body, it's a regulatory body. So we have explained very well what is a regulatory body. Regulatory body is a government agency. It's a government body. So the government body is working for the society. Now, Engineering Council Sri Lanka should maintain the standards of the engineering practitioners. Now, ISL is looking after engineers only. Engineering Council Sri Lanka maintain the standards of the all engineering practitioners. That includes the engineers, technologists, and the technicians. Actually, there are 6 categories we have explained that part. Then they are doing the registration. ISL is given the membership. Engineering Council in Sri Lanka given the registration. That registration is the license to practice. Just like the doctor's registration in the medical council, it's a license to practice. Without that license, they cannot practice. Similarly, without having the engineering council registration, you cannot legally practice as an engineer. Not only the engineer, even the technologist and even the technicians. So, therefore, you have to write very clearly the difference between these two entities, ISL and the Engineering Council, Sri Lanka. Any question? Right. Then we go to the next question. Explain the difference between morality and ethics. Give an example where morality could conflict with ethics. So, Mr. Asela can explain that one.
Yeah, mo-
We
I
don't
think
want to give the all theories now, just remind.
morality is what you are told to do very simply, right? But you as students have to dig, have to understand. This is the first thing that we explained, first few slides that we explained. So you have to internalize the words morality, what is ethics, what is morality. You have to read and understand, uh, see some very good videos that I shared, and internalize what these concepts are, right? The morality is a kind of personal thing, and it is what you are told to do by the society. You don't go and investigate why it is correct or why is it right. Say, for example, from our societies, we are told, some of our societies, we are told not drinking is bad, right? So morally, some of us think drinking is like drinking alcohol is bad. That is a moral value for probably me, but not probably somebody else in some other society, right? So morality is what you are told to do. You don't go and investigate why is it so, right? But ethics is a more systematic study of why something is good or bad to do, right? Ethics is a more systematic study where you find answers. Why is it bad? Who are the people or the society is getting impact? And if there's a bad impact, it's unethical. If there's a good impact, it's ethical. So you rationalize and build up a theory. Why is it good or bad, right? Both are about good or bad, but morality is what you are told to do, whereas ethics is what you derive out of reasoning, right? So this is the two basic reasoning. As long as you capture the essence, you get marks, but you need to clearly understand the difference between the two words. That is one basic thing in this course. Give an example. Say, for example, morality. So now I gave very good examples like a lawyer and a client, right? Uh, the lawyer, after a while, get to know that client is actually has done something wrong. But as a lawyer, they have an ethical binding to defend his customer, whether he's right or wrong, right? Uh, but that kind of thing. Say for a policeman, he might morally think because of his upbringing, something he's doing is wrong. But as a policeman, he has to abide by the rules of the police department. So ethically, he cannot do whatever he thinks personally. He has to follow the ethical rules of the police department. So that these are kind of good, very simple examples. And there's a slide that I have given a few examples to go through those. similar questions could arise, right? These are very nice things to remember also, for as a person, as a engineer and a professional.
Yeah, we discuss about the values, morality,
Yeah.
ethics,
Mm.
laws. So all these things are going together actually. There may be some overlapping areas also.
Slight differences.
Yeah, slight
Yeah,
differences can be there.
and also I think we need to mention the competency versus skill, right? It's similar definition, very slight difference, but quite a different definition when you think about it in detail. Skill versus competency, what are the differences? Morality versus ethics, what is the difference? You need to understand those. It's very important as a professional.
Yeah. Then the ethical dilemma explained very well in the lectures. Sometimes you know this is wrong, but you have to do that. So the you are forced to do that. If you do not do that one, you are in trouble. Then you are coming to a dilemma.
Yeah.
Then
So
what shall I do for
basically,
this one?
yeah. So basically, what we expect for as an answer is, you are a person is in an ethical dilemma. Dilemma mean in a undecision indecision situation where there are one or more ethical principles in conflict, right? When you are trying to do something, you have to violate one or more ethical principles as a professional. Then you face a ethical dilemma. Say, so I can give so many examples, but we have discussed that is the answer. That is very simple answer. Only 3 minutes you have to say. Can explain very briefly what you mean. You can save a lot of time from this question.
Yeah, only thing you should know it very well. Then you can write up
Yeah,
to the point.
yeah,
Otherwise, you will waste the time also when you are writing the answer. So next question also similar. Explain practical example of ethical dilemma situation with respect to a professional engineer's line of work. Explain the dilemma situation. Discuss the ethical principle in conflict. This was not done very well most of the students. You have to explain the dilemma situation first. Then you can take the Iesl code of ethics. You can say this is the ethical principles conflicting here. Okay. Stasel, you want to add something? Yeah.
yeah. If you have gone through the few of the simple and more complex case studies that we have done, right? You can refer to one of those situations in your own context and then write it down. So, for example, there is a requirement for saving money by changing a design. Okay, uh, but but this change of design will weaken the structure. But because you need to complete with the profit at the end of the project, you are going to change the design with some low quality material. It will be just enough, but not going to be as good as the original design. Somehow your management is asking you to go ahead. So there you are facing a ethical dilemma, right? As a professional, you are not supposed to do that. You are supposed to deliver the quality product at the end. So that will be a situation. Discuss the ethical principles in conflict. You can refer to the 8 codes in Iesl. If you remember, you have to remember anyway the 8 codes. Under that, you point out the main clause, and if you remember the sub clauses, you don't need to mention the numbers or whatever. Just mention the principle here. What is the principle? You have to be protect the public, right? The clause one basically is applicable. So you mentioned that clause. Your ethical responsibilities to ensure the health, safety, and uh, the protection of the public, and serve them as faithful professionals. So that is the principle under conflict. And then from the other principle in conflict is as a professional, you have to be faithful to your employer or the client also. So these two principles are conflicting here. That is the ethical situation. Uh, and then you very briefly explain, don't go into detail. We have got only 6 minutes here. Here we are not asking the close number, whatever. Just mention the high level principles and then briefly explain what is the conflict. In some examples, it could be only one principle that is conflicting. In some, maybe two conflicting. Uh, Two principles conflicting with each other. In some cases, one principle being violated. So it depends on the case that you are taking. So essentially, as when you're going for the exam, you have to think about such scenarios and build up your own knowledge and then be prepared to answer. Otherwise, if you start thinking when the question at the question paper, you will not have time.
Yeah.
Right? Read those case studies, remember the situations, build up your own cases, and be ready to answer such questions.
Yeah. Now, it's question 2 is the case study. We discussed it last week, and you will get 50 marks for the case study. That means that approximately you can spend about 30 minutes to answer the case study. Now you have to read it properly, then the write the answers to these questions.
Yeah.
Uh,
Here also reading will take some time. So you have to read, you have to develop your fast reading skills, right? And identify the salient points. It will be only about 100 words. So it's not going to be very long, less than 100, 150 words. So read it within 5 minutes, and the rest of the time you build up your answer based on that. But here again, I'm reiterating, here you have to know the ISL code of ethics well, the 8 major codes and what are the sub clauses, read it and internalize. So now then when you start reading the case, you immediately now remember what are the major clauses applicable. And then you can, if you identify the major clauses, you can go to the website or the given document, ISL code, and then identify the sub clauses. Here we are asking the numbers of the clauses and what are the applicable codes under the sub clauses. All the sub clauses are not applicable in many cases, most of the cases. Uh, Major codes you have to identify. If you identify the major codes, you get the majority of the marks. If you identify the uh, say 60% of the marks of given to that part, and if you identify the sub clauses, you will get the rest of the marks.
yeah, okay. That is about the previous time question paper, and you are not getting the same question paper this time. But we have done some additional things in the next this semester. That is the mainly the uh, mainly the other than technical things, what are the knowledge you need to practice as an engineer? So we discussed about the what is the HR knowledge you need, what are the rules and regulations related to the HR and the compliances you need to do. Now, for the public services, public means the government, fully government services, you have to follow the establishment code, that is also called the administrative regulations. And there is the day-to-day activities, rules and regulations are there, attendance, overtime, leave. So all these things are very important to practice as an engineer. Then the other laws, the EPF, ETF, Employees Provident Fund, Employee Trust Fund, and the some amount to be deducted from their salary and some amount to be included by the employer. These things are there. Then the Also, the similar to the establishment code, the semi-government and the private sector should follow the Shop and Office Act. We'll discuss those things also. And then we talk about the your how you will get the profit to your business, because all engineers are doing business of a particular company. So it is your overall responsibility to get return for the investment they are doing. Therefore, you have to have a proper corporate plan or the business plan for about 3 to 5 years. And we discuss about the corporate plan, what are the things to be included there. Then you should have the key performance indicators for this plan. Yearly you can check it. Then you can have annual business plan. Annual business plan, everything you are going to do in that particular year will be included in the annual business plan. Then there are one part is the budgeting. Budgeting is very, very important, because any company should know how much they are going to spend and how much they are getting the revenue and what is the expected profit for particular year. So therefore you have the operational budget, that is called the OPEX, operational expenditure, and other one is the capital budget, that is the capital expenditure, that one. And we discussed about the uh, how to analyze the financial statement and what are the important financial statements, the profit and loss account or the account statement, and the balance sheet, cash flow. So those things also important to an engineer. Then we discussed about the procurement process, the tender boards, when you are going to buy something. So what is the procurement processes you should follow. So in high level, we discuss those things. And another important thing, the project management part. So this time I think we have covered a wider range, but all these things are very, very important to work as a successful engineer. But within 1 hour, we cannot assess all these things, but have some idea about all these areas. So Mr. Asela, you want to add anything?
Yeah, so don't expect the same format for the question one coming this time, right? So there are other areas that we have not captured in the question paper last time. The questions could come from any other area. For example, the last part that Mr. Tilaksila did about corporate management part, where engineers need to know the finance, the management, the regulations, etc. These things also could arise in the question paper. So you have to have a basic idea of all the segments that we covered.
Because all these things are very important when you are working in the society. Okay, these are about the exam, and this time you will get some choices, and the number of questions will be reduced. Last time I think there are about 8 questions. So this time number of questions will be reduced, and we will expect to give some choices also. 3 questions out of 4, like that, right? Okay, now you can ask any question you have. One question you ask, is the exam open book or closed book? This exam is not open book. Only thing you can have here, you will be provided the Iesl code of ethics. That's all. This is a closed book exam, right? Any other question? Normally, students should have many questions.
Mr.
But the question,
Tilaksila, if they are answering from home, there's no way to ensure with closed book, right? But anyway, within this given time, you won't have enough time to uh, do a open book, go through the slides and then find answers. Uh, so if it is a practical exam, yeah, definitely it will be close to, but ISL code will be available to you.
Yeah, now you can see the case study, no point of an open book there. You have to
Yeah,
refer only the
yeah,
code of ethics.
yeah.
Other questions also, if you are going to refer a book, we have only 30 minutes, around 30 minutes. So you will not have sufficient time to answer all questions. So therefore, this is not open book exam. This is the last lecture we have.
This is the last lecture, right?
Yeah. Okay, since you don't have any other question, then we can close the session for today. That is the last session actually. And wish you all the best. Mr. Asela, you want to say anything?
Uh, I wish to thank UNICEF Maratua for giving us the opportunity to share our knowledge with the students, and thank you everybody, all the students for participating. I hope that we had a more productive discussion than what is happening now. So let's hope for better times uh, next with the next group, right?
Yeah, this is a very important subject actually. Engineering Council also discussed this one. We had a meeting with all the deans, and we are expecting to give a common curriculum to all universities. Now this is only 1 GPA, so it may be 2 GPA or sorry, the not the two 1 credit. It can be 2 credits or 2.5 credits like that. Because along with the professional ethics, you you should know this subject area, the other areas to practice as a very good engineer once you come to the industry. Okay. Right, then shall we close the session? Stasila?
Yeah, can.
Okay.
So wish you all the best, students, for the exam. It's going to be I think in 2 weeks time, Nimesh.
Mm,
uh, I
yeah,
wish you all the
maybe.
best. I hope to get very nice answers, creative answers from all you guys and the girls. Uh, and see you at the exam.
And I'll expect to put all the lectures to the YouTube also. So you can refer from anywhere then. This one also you put to the YouTube. And through Moodle you can go there. Okay. Then I close the session for today. This is the last session. Okay.